Has Kyler Murray really entered the MVP chat, Johnny?
Plus, Mina Kimes, ever heard of her, is going to join our show. We're going to ask her, should Jonathan Gannon be in the running for NFL Coach of the Year? PHNX Cardinals starts
now.
What's good, everybody? The PHNX Cardinals podcast, your premier Arizona Cardinal podcast. Like and subscribe. Give us a 5-star wherever you get your programming. I'm Johnny Venerable. This is Brack, Damon, Dawg, producer extraordinaire behind the mic. Victory Monday was yesterday. We're locking in here on a football Tuesday. Mina Kimes, ESPN NFL analyst, right around the corner. But first, let me tell you about our friends, our presenting sponsors today on this fine program, Bet365. Download the app. Bonus code is PHNX365 when you sign up. Find out why, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary with our friends at Bet365. Bet365 right now, Kyler Murray top 5 in MVP odds, Bo. Heading into week, what is this, 12?
That's right, entering week 12. We were just a couple days from that kicking off on Thursday Night Football with a real stinker between the Browns and the Steelers. Steelers, of course, they're hot, but the Browns occupying a primetime game, something we've already discussed on the show this week. Nobody wants to see it.
Don't talk to me about the Browns.
Exactly. I want to give a warm welcome to all our diehards out there. How about Desert Warm 430 dropping that Kyler, that sweet, wholesome Kyler video of him sharing some pizza with a New Yorker out there, enjoying some time off during his bye week. Chris C. About Mr. J, Gannonite, Didi, the entire squad in the exclusive member Discord having a blast. Outpaces me often. I got to play a lot of catch up, reading up on the chat there in the member Discord. And of course, we've got the lovely people here in the chat right now enjoying this fine program. What's up, everybody? Keeping it going already. The Rickety Bridge, Craig, Sick of My Job, Otis, the whole squad ready to enjoy some PHNX Cardinals here on a Tuesday.
It's like the perfect appetizer, the meal, if you will. Craig Morgan dropped a banger of an article that's available right now for free at gophnx.com. Cardinals playoff watch. The NFC West is wide open. And I think with that, Bo, and everybody go check out that article, comes with renewed hope and optimism that, maybe NFL award season is wide open. I made a proclamation yesterday on the show that I think Kyler Murray respectfully should be the lock comeback player of the year. Fraud Kirk Cousins, 6-5, bad division, right? Looked awful last week, hollow numbers. Then, here comes Kyler Murray leading the ever-competitive NFC West. Kyler Murray and Jonathan Gannon win the NFC West. I think they are very much in contention for awards if you're into that kind of thing. But what about the ultimate award? What about the MVP? I keep kind of scoping around all the once upon a time haters, whether they were in this market or they were in the national market. And every time I see the usual suspects of a Josh Allen, a Lamar Jackson, Kyler Murray is not too far behind them. And here's what I will say. Now I'll turn it over to you. Like, regardless of whether or not K1 can get it done, I think it's a tall task with this roster in year 2 of this rebuild. It just speaks to how ridiculous the notion ever was that Kyler Murray wasn't the guy. Right. If you're talking about an MVP of the NFL and we're in November and Thanksgiving is next week, people were so easy to dismiss this guy as expendable. That answers that question.
It absolutely does. I mean, at the beginning of last season, that was kind of the biggest question that people wanted asked and answered. Is Kyler Murray going to be the guy going forward under the new regime? And he has answered that and answered it even with an overwhelming, emphatic yes, with an exclamation point, I think, with his performance this season.
Yeah.
Now, when you look at him in the MVP race, unfortunately, I think, there's going to be a lot of players with gaudier numbers that are going to get more love that have been more consistently on the national stage. We're already you had Lamar Jackson win the MVP last year with one of the more underwhelming MVP performances we've seen in recent history. And now he's following that up with a pretty impressive performance statistic-wise. It's going to take the team doing their part too. You talked about that and how Kyler Murray's elevated them to 6-4, top kind of a diluted NFC West division. Not to take anything away, but those are the facts. On average, over the last 10 years, MVPs have averaged around 13 wins a season. The players come from a team that's won 12.9 games. And then you look at the total touchdowns, it's right around 41, with the low bar being Lamar Jackson, 29 total touchdowns last season. So Kyler Murray, 16 total touchdowns. You and I have both said that we believe he's going to see an uptick, especially with his offense clicking down the stretch in the 7 final games. But there's win-wise and stat-wise a long way to go down this stretch.
I think the NFL, Lamar Jackson getting the award last year almost kind of by default. So there wasn't a clear standout, right? And I honestly think this year, let's just look at the NFC, for instance. Jared Goff's not going to win the MVP of the number 1, seeded Detroit Lions. We don't think, right? Nobody views him like that. Kyler Murray's got higher odds than him. And K1 and Jalen Hurts are neck and neck. I think the NFL likes to vary it up with quarterbacks, respectfully. I don't think, if they're talking about a receiver or a defensive end, that's ever in consideration. I happen to think McCaffrey should have been the MVP last year. But there's no clear-cut candidate outside of the usual suspects of a Lamar or Josh Allen. And while Josh Allen's never won the award, I do think voters with this resurgence now and pro Kyler Murray stance, which we've always had, that Kyler Murray could enter the conversation. But you're right. They would have to get they would have to find a way to secure the 2 seed in the NFC.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can win, the 3 or the 4 seed, even as a division champ, and get MVP, but I don't think it's impossible. You would probably just have to win out. They would have to somehow finish the season 13-4, as you mentioned, get the 2 seed, and Kyler Murray would have to just play lights out for 7 games. But oh, by the way, we've seen that before.
He's done that before, yeah.
Yeah, he was 7-0 in 2021, 9-1, and he was the MVP of the NFL. So I think people were scoffing at the notion he could win it. To your point just now, this offense hasn't gotten going since basically we were in Miami when it took off, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was sitting next to Damon. I was sitting next to the diehards at Hard Rock. You and Craig were in the press box. Kyler Murray, basically, he and Drew Petzing, they got it going that day, and they haven't looked back since then. They've been averaging over 30 points per game the last 3 weeks. What if that's just the continuation of this offense for the next 7 games?
He had 20 total touchdowns during that stretch. That's what it would take,
Yeah.
I think, really to get into the realistic MVP conversation, because you have to put yourself and present yourself to the national audience, to the national MVP voters who, don't necessarily watch every Arizona Cardinals football game, but they're putting themselves, they're forcing the issue. And that's also on the shoulders and legs of Kyler Murray.
Yeah.
The thing is, what he's done, and Drew Petzing talked today, in what he's been most impressive with his quarterback is the ball security. And that's part of the equation, but it's not one of the main statistics that people look at when they're making the decision on who's the best player in the league any given season. But Kyler Murray's been taking care of the football, and then he's also, the stats that kind of get overlooked that shouldn't. In October, he had 3 fourth-quarter comebacks.
Mm-hmm.
You've got Jared Goff throwing 5 picks in a game, and his team's still winning. Yeah. He's getting helped out by the overall roster. While Kyler Murray, I think you could really make the case, is elevating a very young, budding roster and carrying it at times. There's the Chicago game where he got the benefit of just getting to hand the football off to James Conner and Trey Benson, even Trey McBride, for the over 200 yards rushing, and Chicago just couldn't stop them. They just gashed them anytime they wanted on the ground. So there was no reason to put Kyler Murray, put the football up to his array of wide receivers. So it's unfortunate, you take that out, but it's a good thing for the Cardinals as far as their success, that they can be diverse as far as how they win offensively week in, week out. But then also what helps out here is Kyler Murray does have the ability to put on that Superman cape and carry this team.
there's just too much meat on the bone with this schedule in this second half. Damon, let's take a look at the schedule for the rest of the season here. And it starts this weekend. Like you and I were chatting off air. I mean, this Seahawks game, not going to be easy. It's always tough going to Seattle. Like the Seahawks don't do anything well defensively. Like, can we say that? Like they can't stop the run. They give up big plays in the passing game. Like you've got an opportunity. I would say that the rest of this roster, or excuse me, the schedule, sans week 13 at Minnesota, which isn't impossible, lends itself to Kyler Murray averaging at least 2 touchdowns per game the rest of the year. You know, New England at home, Carolina on the road. Carolina is one of the worst defensive teams in the NFL. Don't give me the Rams. You know, the Cardinals destroyed the Rams in week 2. They have largely the same personnel. I know some of their young players are getting better. And then the Niners are big-time frauds in week 18. We have no idea what the state of that team's going to be. But they're beat up and they're hurt right now. So, I mean, you look at the defenses they faced on paper. I mean, like Buffalo's a great defense. Packers play good defense. The Bears on paper statistically are a good defense. The Dolphins, we run in that game. The Chargers are a tremendous defensive team. I know the Jets have completely vomited all over themselves, but that was viewed as a matchup. They've got high-end defensive personnel. Like, just think about the personnel defensively the Cardinals are going to face. Like Seattle, very average to below average.
Yeah.
New England, below average. Carolina, maybe the worst in the NFL. As you can see, the standings here, or the final race for the NFC West in the division. I would be disappointed if Kyler Murray didn't go off based on what I'm looking at.
Well, let's really flush this out. When we look at the remaining 7 games, when you have Seattle twice in the next 3 weeks, and this is a defense that is brutal against the run. Like they've given up, they're 27th against the run in the league.
Yeah.
Just haven't been able to slow it down. 28th in rushing yards. Well, I'm sorry, that's offensively, but 27th against the run. You know, they're just a bad team defensively. Like it's probably going to be a run first game there. So is there going to be a ton of opportunity for Kyler Murray to get the stats where they need to get to? No, but taking care of business in the division and winning those football games, that's very well an opportunity for Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals in week 12 and 14. You've got this game against the Vikings in week 13 that regardless if it gets flexed to primetime, we're still waiting to hear that. I hear from our friends over the MVR that we should hear it no later than tonight. That's a big game for him against a really trendy, a team that's played really well this season in conference that you can make a statement against that, you know, will turn the heads of some of the national media. And then you start to look at, so let's take Kyler Murray back to his Big 12 days. Like this is, you know, Texas Tech, Kansas back in those days, like New England and Carolina. That's where you really pad your stats. Those are bad pass defenses. Both Tua and both Cooper Kupp and Puka went over 100 yards with touchdowns this past weekend against the Patriots, and Carolina's just been bad for a long time. So 15 and 16 are stat padding, and then you can kind of really emphasize it the final 2 weeks of the season with divisional opponents with a lot on the line.
It's in front of Kyler Murray, whether it's to win the MVP, first team All-Pro, which he has not secured in his brief 6-year NFL career. We're going to do a deep dive through K1's numbers thus far and maybe project where he's going. That's right around the corner here on PHNX Cardinals. Again, I mentioned it, top of the show, Bet365. You want to get in on some of these in-season props, no better place to do so. I think Kyler Murray is 5th in MVP odds. Of course, the runaway favorites, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen for now. I remember once upon a time, unfortunately, Carson Palmer was the favorite and was edged out by Peyton Manning and Cam Newton. So, again, things can change over the course of every calendar NFL season. Things are always changing with our friends at Bet365. Never ordinary. Right now, take advantage of a robust sports season. NBA, NFL, NHL, college basketball, college football. No better time using the bonus code PHNX365 when you sign up. Deposit just $10, then place a 5-spot or more. You're going to get $150 in bonus bets. No questions asked, right? We got Thursday Night Football around the corner. We've got college football playoffs, bowl games to be announced soon. It's a banner time to make money, to have a good time with our friends at Bet365. But you got to download the app today. You got to sign up. And again, the app itself, the interface, so easy to navigate, so easy to get those boosted props, right? What's better than bonus bets with boosted props? I'll tell you what's better. downloading it right now with $150 in bonus bets. You got to be 21 years and over, physically located in the great state of Arizona. If you were someone you know has a gambling problem, wants help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP, text NEXT STEP to 53342, or visit problemgambling.az.gov, Bo, for more info.
A lot of people say the reason for the season this year right now is like Thanksgiving, getting together with family and friends and breaking bread. But mine is actually the Black Friday thank you sale over at Sanderson Ford. That's what I like to celebrate this time of year, and checking out some of the great deals that they have on over 900 vehicles they have on inventory on their 65 glorious acres out there in the West Valley. Check them out for yourself, especially since they have their no hassle, no pressure, no nonsense sales approach, which is always great to do your homework on the vehicles you're interested in without having the pressure of some sales associate trying to force you into a deal. Get and check out the 2024 F-150 trucks, 3.98% APR financing for 66 months, plus $4,000 cash back. Similar savings up to $900 on the 900 new and pre-owned vehicles on the lot. Don't miss out on Sanderson Ford's Black Friday thank you sale, OAC through Ford Credit. Up to $4,000 cash back requires a trade-in of 95 or newer. The offer expires at the end of the month, November 30th.
We got almost 500 people watching. Be sure to drop a like here. Subscribe to PHNX Sports. And again, check out our guy Craig Morgan's new article at GoPHNX.com. Let's dive a little deeper into the potential MVP numbers for when Kyler Murray. This again is through week 11. Damon, Dawg, let's see it. Passing yards just over 2,000. So those are down historically, but the rushing yards more than make up for it. He's got a 12-3 TD to interception ratio. And I think he's got just like 6 total turnovers on the year, but some of those credited fumbled snaps are more likely on the running back. How about this? A 69.2 completion percentage. That is top 5 in the NFL. And then you look at the QBR, 74.9. That's 3rd in the NFL and 1st in the NFC. So again, you talk about the hierarchy of quarterbacks in the NFC. Kyler Murray is right there. 6 FBMs, completion percentage we highlighted. So again, you think about where this team is right now, how gaudy these stats look, and then how really there's nowhere to go but up. Like I don't think he's going backwards. I think we're going to be looking at the end of this year, Bo, and I think he's going to get to about 3,500 yards passing, and I think there's a real shot to have 700 yards rushing. What do you think?
No, I think that those are absolutely realistic with the passing numbers here. The QBR, as you said, it's great, right where you want to see it. The completion percentage as well. You just need to see an uptick as far as scoring. 16 total touchdowns is great. When you just look over the last 10 years, on average, it's 41 total touchdowns from the most valuable player. Now, there's some big time seasons that skewed that. Yeah, but where Kyler Murray is still in line for this is, the rushing yards. He'll eclipse what that is on average for most MVPs. Can he get around the total yardage is like 4,700? That's going to be tough to get to, but can he eclipse 4,000 total yards passing and rushing? I think that he's able to do that. And then as far as the turnovers and taking care of the football, it's just under 10 total turnovers. He's doing a good job in doing that. And people, I think, understand that some of those fumbles that hit the turf and he doesn't lose a whole lot of them, but in the ones that have been lost have been those that the mishandled handoffs to like Trey Benson at the end of a lost game against the Packers. I don't think people are going to crush Kyler Murray for that. So statistically, like a long way to go. Like he's really going to have to chip away at this thing, actually get some chunks here in the next couple of weeks in order to really force the issue.
I'll tell you what stands out to me, and I know he plays quarterback, and it's not apples and oranges. The 8.1 yards per carry for a quarterback running the football. I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, he's averaging almost a first down every time he tucks and runs with it. And I know that they're going to be, I would say, much more careful in the second half, potentially leaning on James Conner and Trey Benson until the wheels come off, and maybe not allowing Kyler Murray to be, susceptible to big shots running the football. But to me, that's a special part of his game that we've seen be re-unlocked for the first time since that 2021 season. That 2020 season, I think he had like 900 yards rushing. So it's great to see that element back. And like Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen, I feel like in today's NFL, if you're going to be an MVP QB, you got to be able to run the football a little bit. Like you got to have that mobility piece, because there's something to be said. Like Matthew Stafford puts up 4 passing touchdowns last week and people go nuts, but there's something different. Kyler Murray taken off in that Niner game for a 50-plus yard touchdown, or on Monday Night Football against the Chargers, doing an end around basically on a top scoring defense for LA and taking it 50 yards. That's freak show stuff that people don't see every Sunday. And those, fair or not, you can differentiate that between a traditional pocket passer afternoon. And I think that's going to help Kyler Murray. So to me,
what's kind of crazy, like last week or before the bye week, he had a 1-yard touchdown score. His previous 2 were 50 and 44 yards.
I know they were huge. Don't you feel like too, like Marv's going to get to 10 receiving touchdowns? He's at 6 right now. I think we'd be all surprised if that didn't happen. Like, is Trey McBride just not going to have any receiving touchdowns this year? Is he going to go the entire year without catching a touchdown pass?
They're going to get Trey. They're going to get more than one. Trey's going to find the end zone. You don't feel like it's going to be a heavy dose of Trey going forward?
I'm just speaking tongue in cheek. Like I feel like
we got you
this Sunday. I mean, would it surprise you if Trey caught a touchdown pass this weekend?
No, it would not shock me. He's got to haul it in this time. He's had 2 opportunities and he hasn't secured them. One in San Francisco and the other the previous week.
Yeah.
Trey's do himself a little favor here and haul it in.
Great stuff. Trey McBride went back out east to watch Colorado State play over the bye week. Said that was the first time he'd been back out east. And I'm sure we'll talk to Mina Kimes about out east.
It's east of Arizona, I guess.
Yeah, out east.
Fort Collins, Colorado is hardly east.
That's how directions work. That's how maps work. Damon, wouldn't you say? You're a learned man, Damon. You've got multiple degrees.
Come on. I mean, it's like saying I'm going east and you go to Scottsdale.
I think people say, like, I'm going out west, I'm going to California from Arizona.
Yeah.
People say that. Why can't I say out east for Colorado?
Because that's wet. I mean,
it's more north, right?
As far as Fort Collins, Colorado from here?
I would say Colorado's north.
Calling it east is crazy. That's all I'm saying. You're making it sound like he's up in like in the Atlantic coast, in the Northeast.
Yeah, I'm looking at a map right now. Maybe east is a stretch. It's like
it's one state over.
But to get there, you have to go this way.
Yeah. No, you're not wrong. I mean, factually, you're not incorrect. But
took out a compass and you had to get there. Where would the compass take you? Out east. You got to go out east.
Head east, young man. So he went back to his old stomping grounds there in Fort Collins, Colorado. Watched the border war there between Wyoming and Colorado State. Took in a game at his alma mater. It was great.
Will he take in a Monday Night Football game in Minneapolis in a couple weeks? That has been a big pile of nothing burger over the last 2 days here. So we were kind of tipped off, like the Cardinals were supposed to find out yesterday, and maybe they did. Maybe they found out that they weren't going to play on Monday Night Football. Nothing has been announced. The Slobberfest, can I just be real with you, Bo? Like, the more I do a deep dive on it, on the Twitter streets, on maybe some Denver Bronco Reddit boards, the fact that like the Broncos, and I love our friends at DMVR, pearl clutching this Monday night game against the Browns so that it can be a national showcase for Bo Nix. Listen, we've all been football fans for the last 10 years. I've been watching Bo Nix on my TV for half a decade plus. He played college football like my entire adult life. He was at the collegiate level for like 7 years. I don't need to see Bo Nix. This isn't like, RG3 is a rookie or somebody like that where it's like, oh my God, have you seen X player? Bo Nix is having a nice rookie season, but people talking about showcasing him to the Mannings, gross. Get that out. Peyton Manning has seen Bo Nix play, probably in high school.
Right.
You don't need a showcase game against the soon-to-be 2-10 Browns, ESPN.
No, it is disgusting. It lacks any sports self-awareness, Denver, for them to be like, oh, you can't possibly do this and steal this, snatch this from the hands of putting Bo Nix in a primetime slot. Like, that's the only thing that's worthy of it. A trending rookie. That's great. That's awesome. But at the same time, you would be also subjecting a national audience to watch the Cleveland Browns play football. And you said this to me today, and I completely agree. And I'm sure Damon Dawg's right there. that there's probably not a worse watch in the NFL than the Browns right now.
No. I mean,
I saw Broncos fans try to dress this thing up, and they're like, well, like Jameis throws for 300 yards a game. That's fun. Like, come on. This is prime time. You shouldn't have to dress it up. That's why flexing exists. If they're not going to flex out the 2-8 Browns, then why even have the option? Just to rest on Bo Nix has had a couple good games.
A Bronco team that if they make the playoffs is not winning a playoff game. There couldn't be an easier out as a 7 seed playing like either the Chiefs or the Buffalo Bills. Can we not do that? Can we not subject ourselves to that? Like, congratulations, you might make the playoffs. That doesn't mean you deserve this late The Cardinals and the Minnesota Vikings could be a playoff preview matchup. The Vikings are going to the playoffs. The Cardinals control their own destiny, or have a very good chance of winning their division for the first time in 9 years. Like Justin Jefferson, Marvin Harrison Jr., Kyler Murray, Trey McBride, good, some good cachet names in Minnesota. Or Denver, Cleveland. Cortland Sutton and Bo Nix and Javonte Williams versus Cleveland, Myles Garrett. That's what you're selling me, ESPN. I'm looking on Twitter now, all the
Cedric
nerds.
Tillman and Jameis Winston, man. Doesn't that get you going? Doesn't that connection just get the juices going, Damon?
Everybody reporting that the deadline is passed, that the game will not be flexed. I don't know. Joe Blow with a Twitter handles. They're all reporting that and running with it. I do feel like that's probably what's going to end up happening because we haven't got any news for the last 2 days.
Yeah.
That is
I heard from our guy Zach Stevens over at DMVR before the show. Says we expect to know tonight. I haven't seen him officially report anything. I haven't seen any of the newsmakers, insiders for the Broncos officially report anything. Last one came 7 hours ago from Mike Kliss. There's no official word just yet.
Can I just say this? If the NFL is swayed or skewed by Bo Nix having a big game at home against the Atlanta Falcons last week, and that's why they're keeping that game, shame on them. They deserve a big nothing burger for that Monday Night Football because the week of that kickoff is Thanksgiving. So we're going to be full off of like 20 games before then.
Yeah.
It's going to be a complete afterthought. It's
already subjected people to the Cowboys, Giants on Thanksgiving.
ESPN, do better. I mean, I'm not surprised now. After they put the Cardinals on an app that 6 people saw, and now you're talking about subjecting people nationally to the Browns. The Browns, get out of here with that. I can't believe how many late season Browns games there are.
The Browns play 2 days from now against
it's unbelievable.
Did the NFL think the Browns were going to be like this relevant team deep into the season? Like that was their thought process?
Because their defense was good last year. I don't think anybody anticipated Deshaun Watson being as bad as he was. He was like worse in the league bad.
Can I just say this too? And this might not be like politically correct, but like holiday season, who wanted to see Deshaun Watson on their TV? I'm trying to spend time with my loved ones and my kid. Oh, there's Deshaun Watson. Doesn't that make you feel good? Thanksgiving time. Huddle around the TV. There's Deshaun Watson. Let's do an inside look at Deshaun Watson's life. Oh, whoops! Cut to commercial.
Yeah.
That's what it.
Why did the Texans get rid of him, Dad?
Myles Garrett
parental control. Click. Get it off. Hey, Amazon, figure it out. That is a joke. Who put that together? A flipping third grader. Can we do better? ESPN. Awful.
Bad. They do great. I mean, Mina Kimes does great work over there.
She's the only one. She should be picking these games. We should tell her. Mina should be picking these games. I bet she don't want to watch Cleveland. Ain't nobody want to watch Cleveland.
Well, when the wheels started falling off for Dallas, they started pointing out like they had 6 primetime games. Left.
I can't wait to just be like, I guess the only day I'm going to consume football, meaningful football that matters for January is on Sunday. It's like Thursday and Monday are just moot points at this point. Have you looked at the Thanksgiving slate? It's unwatchable.
Terrible.
Let's read it for everybody before we're going to get to Mina Kimes here in a second. But I just typically Thanksgiving games. Remember last year, Brock Purdy got exposed by, I think it was the Ravens. I love that. It was like the best Thanksgiving present of all time. Here's
4 picks that day.
Oh yeah. Here's the Thanksgiving slate. November 7th through December 3rd, right? So on Thanksgiving, here's what we got. You guys hungry for this matchup? The Bears, who, I mean, we laugh at their misery, at Detroit. That'll be a blowout, bloodbath. And Tommy DeVito at Dallas.
Tommy Cutlets?
DeVito Rush?
Wow.
What a battle.
I'd rather watch Danny
DeVito Rush
at Dallas than Tommy DeVito. And I do love,
heavyweights.
Strapping Italian man like myself, full-blooded Italian. And then the nightcap. This is probably the best game of the day. Miami
by a lot.
Who's 2 games under 500 at Green Bay. Nice schedule. Nice job, NFL. So then the NFL has a chance, to Bo's point. Oh, I'm sorry. Then there's a Friday matchup. Good hell. Look away, friends. The Raiders at Chiefs. The Raiders, who have no cachet, no juice. They're on track to draft Shador Sanders and hire, primetime, first overall. That's the Friday matchup. Sunday night's good. Niners season ends at Buffalo. We like that. But then Monday, Cleveland at Denver.
Yeah, so let's count them up here.
Okay.
Chicago, Detroit, unwatchable. Giants, Dallas.
Worst prime time game of my adult life.
I mean, that's when you're just that's when you're like beer bonging turkey in hopes that the tryptophan knocks you out.
That's right. That's when you go and you play. You have a good catch with your son or daughter. You have a good catch.
Miami, Green Bay. Yeah, that's the redeemable game of the day.
Got it on in the background. Oh look, Tyreek Hill caught it. Awesome.
I gotta say though, there is the potential for that game being real gross. Just Dolphins in cold weather in Green Bay.
Yeah,
I mean, that doesn't go
potential.
well. Very usually.
You got KC hosting the Raiders.
Unwatchable.
Raiders won that game last year. I will point out.
Antonio Pierce may be fired by then. Unwatchable.
And then, as you mentioned, San Francisco, Buffalo. Come on, Josh Allen. Let's keep it going. And ESPN doing people no favors. Like, hey, come check out the Bo Nix show. We can have Peyton Manning just wax poetic about it. I don't even know if they're doing the Manning cast.
Why don't we just have Peyton?
Post Thanksgiving, they usually check out around the holiday.
Let's do a tribute to the 2016 Broncos and do that for 3.5 quarters, and we'll do a cutaway screen as like a red zone. I can't wait to look at the schedule on Sunday. Look how many good games are on Sunday. Cardinals, Vikings, obviously. Chargers at Falcons, right? Some good matchups. Eagles at Baltimore.
Yeah.
I mean, and then we're subjected to this slop. It's
when
slop.
People were asking like, why would Philly and Baltimore, why wouldn't that get flexed? Because CBS, they have the opportunity to lock it.
Game of the week. Yeah.
They're not going to relinquish that. They're going to send Romo and Nance there, and it's going to be their game.
And then the Chargers play on Monday Night Football the week before, so they can't be on that. So had this game be flexed, the Cardinals would have gotten that game. But the NFL said, no, we don't want to watch Kyler Murray in a dome run around and make plays and have a good competitive game. We want to watch Jameis versus Bo Nix, which legitimately I wouldn't watch that in the preseason. That's like a preseason matchup, the third preseason game.
I love this energy though. This is the glass half full approach from Rudy. My parlays for these games are going to be disgusting. It's like, honey, come join the family at the table. It's like, no, I got to stick it through this Giants and Cowboys game.
Bring me the Pepto-Bismol. This isn't sitting well. I got
come say the blessing, and you're sitting there. He's just dropped to his knees, praying that Cooper Rush makes a play in the fourth quarter to beat Tommy DeVito. It's like, call the number.
Trey Lance still can't get on the field. All right, we got Mina Kimes right around the corner here on PHNX Cardinals. ESPN may be frauding it up, but you know who's not? Our friends at Game Time. Game Time, baby. I don't know if you want to lock it in for a stretch run for the division with the Arizona Cardinals. Check out our friends at Game Time right now. Cardinals next home game. How about this, Bo? Arizona Cardinals. I'm trying to find them here. The deals are so hot. Arizona Cardinals next home game against the Seahawks, $85.
Yeah.
I mean, tickets are going like this. You better get them while you can. Or how about this? The hottest ticket in town. Does anybody want to guess what it is? Damon, you know what this is. What's the hottest ticket this weekend?
Not sure. ASU? I'm guessing ASU versus BYU.
It's sold out.
To get in the door for BYU at ASU, $250.
The worst timeline. The worst possible timeline.
Yeah,
$250.
If you hold with Game Time.
That's right.
And you wait just before kick, maybe go enjoy some of the tailgating. It's going to give you the best chance to get the best price at that.
100%. So Tuesday, everybody keep tabs on this. Download the Game Time app, PHNX bonus code, $20 off. Everybody go download the app right now. Put your bonus code in. Look at the price now, and then check back in Thursday, Friday. I guarantee it's lower. Again, Game Time. Like, you look around right now, the landscape of the betting scene, or excuse me, the ticket market here in Arizona, like times are good. So ticket prices get a little higher. So that's why Game Time, it's so imperative that you're locked in with our friends, as my co-host mentioned, at Game Time right now. Download the app, create an account. Again, bonus code PHNX, $20 off your first purchase. Terms and conditions apply. $20 off. Do it now. Parking passes, concerts, events, and of course, sweet football action. Download Game Time today, Bo. What time is it? It's game time.
Game time, baby. It's also time to get back to our favorite place, Gila River Resorts and Casinos at Wild Horse Pass, for our watch along. It's going to be hanging out with our great food and drink specials going on, our custom menu at Gila River Resorts and Casinos at Wild Horse Pass. We're going to be watching the Cardinals take on the Seahawks as they're on the road. Come hang with us. And also check out the 4,500 slots, live table games, and catch all the action right with us in the sports book. Check it out. Go big or go home. A winner from upscale to approachable. They got the classy. They've got the casual dining options. It's all there for you at Gila River Resorts and Casinos, Wild Horse Pass. No one does it better. It's an unprecedented level of entertainment and excitement that you're not going to find anywhere else in the desert. We're going to be hosting those events, including the watch party on Sunday, pre-halftime, post-game show. Watch it all live. The Cards and Suns watch party. Stay tuned for more info on how you can come hang out with us. You do you at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Visit playGila.com for more details.
Visit GoPHNX.com. Become a diehard. Shop the number 18 collection right now. We've got some Black Friday deals coming around the corner, so get your free merch right now. Go and get your free t-shirt, preferably a PHNX Cardinals piece of merch at GoPHNX.com. Becoming a diehard, there's no better time. Right now, free new membership card. How about that? Free piece of merch, t-shirt from the locker, access. I mentioned Craig's article. All of it and more for free. Gerald, Jesse, the whole team at GoPHNX.com. Access to our sweet newsletter right in your inbox every morning. Entrance to the PHNX Cardinals Discord Lounge, which, as my co-host mentioned, is popping off. And then we also talked about it. Discounts on all future events, including our pickleball tournament right around the corner here in December. Die Hard season is here. Shop the number 18 collection today. Joining the show, host of the Mina Kimes podcast featuring Lenny. Subscribe to her podcast today, by the way. It's ESPN NFL analyst Mina Kimes here on PHNX Cardinals. Fast forward, or I guess rewind, a couple of weeks ago, we were sitting here and we're like, is this team for real? Well, they better be. They're ahead of the division by a game, and it looks like, the major players in San Francisco and the LA Rams, they may not be for real. Like, I think that's the conversation worth having.
I think that it's an incredibly balanced division right now. I truly believe any of these four teams can beat any of these other four teams. And Cardinals deservedly in first place, obviously, with the wins against the divisional opponents. Those are super significant. The way the offense is playing, the way the defense, frankly, has been playing has been really impressive. But I am loath to pick NFC West games right now because, and they're all good at kind of different things and some of them have matchup problems with the others. I mean, this was obviously a huge win for Seattle against San Francisco, which hasn't happened in a very long time, Kyle Shanahan era. So, yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for NFC West football these days.
Well, with all that being said, what do you view as the edges for all four respective teams in this division?
I mean, the Cardinals offense, and now that we've talked a few times about this, I think you guys know where kind of I stand on this. Two things jump out. One is just that they present, sorry to use this word again, matchup problems for a lot of defenses. And you're really seeing that in terms of like the way defenses have to play them because of their dominant rushing attack and also the use of tight ends and the things that opens up in the passing game make it very unique. But for all of that to come together, you have to see what we've seen over the last couple of weeks, which is Kyler Murray playing at, I believe, an MVP level. By the way, if you guys want to get triggered, go read the Instagram comments. ESPN NFL posted, I think, a clip of me saying that, and people are so mad. Or you can go in there and fight on my behalf. But the dude's just playing lights out football. He's been so good under pressure, so accurate, just dicing up teams from in the pocket this season. So, that you got to start there with the Cardinals. It's the offense. San Francisco, I think obviously coming off of a tough loss, but Kyle Shanahan schematically still gives them an edge in a lot of matchups. And, it's guys have been in and out lineup. Injuries have hurt them, but when they're actually healthy, I think, like when George Kittle plays, for example, he didn't play against Seattle, still presents a ton of problems. Seahawks, I think defense has actually shown some improvement. This will be a pretty significant test, this rushing attack in particular. But you feels like they've kind of turned a corner a little bit under Mike McDonald. But the biggest advantage there, I think, is just you have a really, really good quarterback when he's kept clean in Geno Smith, very dangerous group of wide receivers. And then the Rams, it's just that offense, when they hit their ceiling, the ceiling is so high. And then the young defensive line is really getting after it. But, when Puka Nacua plays and he's healthy, it's a real problem. I mean, I think 1, 2, 3, 4, these offenses, you could argue division wise, maybe the best group of 4 offenses in the NFL.
I'll put you on the spot here. What quarterback do you trust the most here coming down the stretch? You said Kyler's playing MVP level football.
Yeah.
You get the job done over a Stafford, over a Purdy. Geno's got 11 interceptions this year. Let's just call a spade a spade. Like, do you trust Kyler Murray to finish the job this year?
I don't know if I trust him more than like a Matt Stafford in a big moment, honestly, just given what I've seen Stafford do over the course of his career. But I think he probably right now has the highest ceiling of any quarterback in the division. So I guess you asked about trust, and I'm going to be honest, no, I probably don't trust him the most. But I think right now, the way he's playing, he's capable of hitting a gear that is different, if that makes sense. And if we're talking about going up against a team like Detroit, who's obviously the best team in the NFC, or the Eagles, a quarterback who is capable of doing what Kyler has shown in some pretty big spots this year makes the Cardinals very scary.
Our producer, Damon Dawg, will go to war in the comments, by the way.
Thank you.
In your honor and Kyler Murray's honor. I will. Yeah, he's great at that. That's his strength. So we're going to put him – we're going to task him with that. Don't
read it. It'll make you upset. Honestly, don't read that.
We're used to it. And that's like part of my next question. I mean, we see Kyler Murray. He's doing a great job with his own social media. He's got the vlog up now on YouTube.
Yeah, I've noticed.
He's winning. Yeah. He's playing at a high level. We see him, eating pizza with somebody who has no clue who he is. It's an adorable, wholesome video that we all love. It seems like everything is going Kyler's way, Mina. Like, do you think he's doing a great job in just kind of changing the narrative that existed for far too long?
I do. And I think that the turnover in the staff was so necessary because you guys remember there was a lot of kind of bad vibes with the previous staff and some of the older receivers. And I honestly, at times, even when Kyler, the 2020 season, I felt like it wasn't like always, it didn't feel like his team necessarily. You had Larry Fitzgerald and of his time, right? And now this feels like Kyler Murray's team. And I think there's some advantage to being the veteran and having your skill players be significantly younger than you, right? Like your best skill players, your best receivers. So and a young offensive line and a young play caller. They're all growing together. And I think he's obviously risen to the challenge, right, of being a leader and being maybe more of a leader than he was earlier in his career. And it's cool to see.
Since we last talked, the Cardinals took the Bears and the Jets to the proverbial woodshed, especially defensively. Now, I know you've had kind of your reservations with this no-name, respectfully, defense like Sans Budabaker. I mean, not a lot of people know who's on this defense and what they've been able to do. Do you think that's more of a byproduct of who they've played when they've played them? Or they haven't given up a touchdown in their last 3 home games. Is there some significant momentum that you think could carry over to, say, this road game this weekend?
Yeah. Opponent certainly matters, right? We're seeing, I mean, that Bears offense had just a disgusting stretch, and then the Jets are what they are. But I also feel like the floor of this defense is a lot higher than what I thought at the beginning of the season. I thought this would be one of the 3 or 4 worst defenses in the NFL, easy. And they've been playing far from that. I do not think that they're going to be like a top 10 defense this year. I truly worry about the lack of pass rush against a team like Detroit or Philadelphia, talking about setting aside even the run defense in those games. But the way that they're playing is such that if the offense continues to hit that ceiling that we've shown, and this is an offense that has a ceiling that's amongst the best in the NFL, as long as you're getting competent defensive play, just a few spots here and there. And I will say, you know, I was talking about this with with Ryan Clark on NFL Live the other day. Last year, the Cardinals defense was one of our favorites to watch because it was just so weird, right? Under Rallis, his name, just in terms of like 3 safety structures and the weird pressures and whatnot. And it feels like this year they started to hone in on certain coverages and pressures that are clicking maybe at a higher rate. I felt that way certainly against the Bears, right? It felt like such a mismatch between the Bears offensive line and your guys' your pass rush. And look, the Bears offensive line obviously has struggled all year long, but a lot of it was because of scheme. I thought some of the games that they were playing up front, the overload, some of the guys that he was sending, it felt like, okay, the weirdness and the plan is kind of starting to come together a little bit.
We talk about this offense a lot. We've already gotten into Kyler Murray, but now you're starting to see, especially on this 4-game heater that they're on, like the numbers are starting to emerge. And, you know, the run game, we knew about that, but then the passing attack catching up. As far as efficiency, it's in the top 5. Do you view this as a top 5 offense in the NFL, or do you think that there's still a little ways to go for that?
Well, we have to go through the top 5 there, right? Detroit, obviously, Philadelphia, and just thinking in the NFC, Baltimore in the AFC would probably be. Sorry, then you're looking at Buffalo, Kansas. I wouldn't put Kansas City there. Even the Bills are marginal.
Washington.
Yeah, I think they're better than Washington.
Yeah.
Definitely NFC South, NFC West, NFC. Yeah, I think if you would, I would probably put them in the 5 to 10 range, but I'm also struggling to right now. I might be missing something very obvious. I mean, the Bengals offense, if you're just looking at the offense, right? Yeah. Certainly not the AFC South right now. So yeah, they're I would put them in the 5 to 10 range, which is amazing.
Kyler Murray's the MVP of the team, but I think you could make an argument like the best overall player is maybe Trey McBride. Like we put our McBrides made veils on every day on the show, Mina.
Insane player.
Who's better than Trey McBride right now playing that position, in your opinion?
Kittle, when he's healthy, is I think just because of his all-around game and what it allows them to do schematically. But that might be it. Hilariously, like the young guys are all really like, if you know, for years the case was that like, oh, tight end takes a while, and you know, when guys come to the league, they're not usually productive until they're more than a couple of years in. But right now, like Bowers, McBride, Laporta all have a case to be in the top 5, and I think McBride is the best of the 3. Although Bowers is really crazy. I don't know if you guys actually watch the Raiders. Nobody watches the Raiders, but that guy is insane. But McBride is just so complete. I mean, his skill set is so unique. There's a cat in my yard. Wow. Sorry, I just looked out the window. I'm in a new house, which is why there's all the crap behind me. His ability to, you know, stretch the field, obviously, his route running, his hands after the catch, his chemistry with Kyler Murray is so magnificent on broken plays too, but also Kyler clearly trusts him so much. I think this is a big part of the reason why Kyler's been so good from the pocket this year is his belief that if he throws an anticipatory throw, 85 is going to come down with it. 85 is going to beat, you know, whatever guys. There was a throw, against the Jets it was the Jets were playing zone, but it was like the tiniest window and 3 dudes were closing on McBride.
Mhm.
And I watched Kyler Murray throw that ball and I thought there's no doubt in his head that he's going to come down with this. And that's, there's a little bit of the Mahomes Kelsey kind of relationship forming there. I know that's a high praise, but there's a little bit of it.
No, we like that. We're here for those comparisons. Yes, please.
We want them. We embrace them. We were concerned though, Mina, during the bye week, like Trey might be out there in the streets of Phoenix just hurtling people, like and
oh my
he
God.
might put himself in harm's way. But he promised us that he's going to take it easy. He might not hurdle somebody just because he's afraid of what the ramifications might be if somebody's prepared for it. So according to ESPN stats, the Cardinals are projected to go 5-2 over the next 7 games, the final 7 games. It's Seahawks on the road, Vikings, then Seahawks at home, Patriots, Panthers, Rams, Niners at home. What's your prediction here as far as the Cardinals in their final stretch?
5-2 might be a little bit rich, to be honest. I mean, because you got obviously the Seahawks twice, the Rams and the Niners. I guess if you split those, win 2 of those and lose 2 of those, and then the Vikings, you're looking at 4-3, which is enough. But you might do better than splitting those. I think that the Vikings, you guys are going to have trouble with because I think that's a game where your lack of pass rush is probably going to be an issue because Sam Darnold really struggles with pressure, but you haven't really, I don't know. I think that they'll be able to move the ball on you. The Seahawks one is interesting. The Seahawks twice are interesting. Like I said, the defense does seem to be playing better football, and they've made some changes in personnel-wise, and I think Mike McDonald is kind of starting to do what he was brought in to do. But the offensive line is still a mess. I think that's another one, though, where I feel like if you go the Seahawks, if you have a really, really good pass rush, you're kind of like it's that offense is really, really struggling. Maybe I'm wrong about the Cardinals pass rush. Maybe what we've seen last couple of weeks could be more of the standard. I'm still a little bit skeptical, to be honest.
You're not wrong. Nope, you're not wrong.
I think the Cardinals offense will be able to move the ball on Seattle. So I think my projection for both of those games is that I think both offenses will have an advantage.
We'll get you out here on this, Mina. Your overall assessment on Jonathan Gannon. We're sitting here playing with house money, talking about an NFC West title for the first time in 9 years. And I mean, they're very much ahead of schedule, right? Like they've got the second most money available in cap space this offseason. Darius Robinson hasn't even played yet. It's a young team. Like, how do you think JG has done year 2?
I think he's been fantastic. I don't ever hear him talked about in Coach of the Year conversations, Tomlin's the front runner, deservedly so, but the turnaround is really impressive, right? I mean, this is a team that a couple of years ago, people thought were like openly tanking with how they were approaching things. And it's also a team where, to go back to your question about Kyler, the vibes were really awful at the end of the Cliff Kingsbury, Steve Keim era. So him and Monty Ossenfort have really turned things around where like it seems like everybody's, on the same page. They're getting more out of the defense than I think what it appears to be on paper, which is a credit to that coaching staff. They're coaching players up. Offensively, they have an identity, which I love. That's an identity also that I think is just such a great one for this moment in football where there aren't that many defenses built to stop them. So yeah, I think Gannon deserves a ton of credit for everything that's happened in Arizona.
Follow her on Twitter at Mina Kimes. Check her out, of course, on her own podcast, Mina Kimes, featuring Lenny, and of course, all her great work over at ESPN. Mina, always great to catch up with you.
I'm on Blue Sky now. Mina Kimes, check it out. Hop on over. You guys on
then
Blue
go
Sky? Defend
her honor and Kyler Murray's honor on Instagram.
You don't have to on Blue Sky. People are nice.
People are nice on Blue Sky. People are nice here on PHNX Cardinals because why not? Why wouldn't they be? Big thanks to our friend Mina Kimes. We've got your super chats and more right around the corner here on PHNX Cardinals. I'll tell you where people are nice at Circle K. I went into Circle K the other day and I tried to purchase an item and they're like, hey, Johnny, this is actually cheaper than what it says on the price tag. And I'm like, that's great. I'm always saving money with my friends at Circle K. I'm getting deals on deals as a member of the Inner Circle, baby. Perfect time right now, especially if you live here in Arizona. It's like bebopping around holiday festivals and maybe you're ice skating and you're doing some hiking. But you need a full tank, right? Well, how about save 25 cents per gallon your first 5 fill-ups as a member of the Inner Circle which is a free new membership program. All you got to do, enter your email, phone number to be enrolled, and that's it. You're ready to rock and roll. And then after those first 5 fill-ups, friends, save 3 cents per gallon every single day. Plus, you go into the app, snack deals, beverage deals, Polar Pops, Frosters, under $1. I mean, when's the last time anything cost 79 cents? Are you kidding me? Love our friends at Circle K. Love the Inner Circle. Join it right now. I promise you, you like saving money, you like filling up for less. Do it with our friends at Circle K for free by downloading the app. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com, Bo, for more details.
No doubt about it. Great people over at Circle K. Johnny, first name basis with everybody. That's wild. They're wild.
Like, hello, Johnny. And I'm like, hey, can I buy this? And they're like, yeah, it's actually cheaper than what's this? It was practically free.
Great people there. I already mentioned we're making our triumphant return this weekend to Gila River Resorts and Casinos for a watch party. You don't want to miss out on that. And the other great events going on with us over here at PHNX Sports. How about our pickleball tournament? This entire crew, we're going to be there. I'm speaking for everybody, but I'm going to be there. I don't know if Damon and Johnny are man enough to get out there and compete back on the pickleball court.
Who are you competing with? I must know. Who are you doing it with?
I don't know. I mean, maybe you. I don't know. Do you want to be my partner?
I asked you first, and you were like, yeah, I'll be your partner. I'll slum it up with you. But you know what? When we win as a team. We win as a team.
All right. Cool, man. Damon, you got a partner for this thing?
I'll find one.
Look.
You guys can do your little kumbaya, hold your hands.
Now I feel bad we didn't include
live it up. My sole goal in life will be to take you two down.
Look, if we could have a trio, we could, but those are against the rules. You can sign up today for your own PHNX pickleball tournament, duo, tandem, or singles. You could get paired up with somebody right now. Go phnx.com/events. All the proceeds go to Operation Santa Claus. Great cause there. Partnering up with our friends over at Sanderson Ford. So don't miss it. December 14th. You got time to sign up.
Nothing hurts me more than disappointing my kids and disappointing Damon. Like when Damon is disappointed, it cuts deep. It cuts deep here on a PHNX Cardinals Tuesday. Let's get those likes up, friends. Drop a like on this video. Got 800 people watching. We appreciate you all.
On the show.
Ever heard of her?
Come on. Let's a little light in the likes. Let's get it going.
Come on, friends.
Cam's Bob in the chat says Kyler is a bottom 25 QB. I'd say that's fair.
Hadn't heard that.
Bottom 25. I mean, that's pretty. You're just outside the top 5.
I think you're about 5 months late on that take. I think that take was a popular take in ranking season back in June when the Cardinals couldn't even make a lot of lists. Remember list season? Light those suckers on fire. They're not relevant at all. Brock Purdy, MVP. Can't wait for the Niners to be under 500 this week. Their season's over at Green Bay.
Yeah. Ryan makes a great point that we win as a team. If we lose, it's all on me. Johnny would be the type of teammate to just throw me completely under the bus.
Let's get that on a t-shirt. Let's get that at the merchandise locker on a t-shirt. Thanksgiving debate. It's officially time for boys to men to change their names to men to grandpas.
Oh.
Wow. Interesting. You know what else is interesting? Everybody that's watching with us on television, jump on over to gophnx.com. The party continues. And, of course, become a diehard. Again, you're watching on TV. Go to gophnx.com, and we'll keep it going here. Super Chats time. We'll kick things off with our friend Gage. $2, Bo. I'm going to the game in Seattle. Let's crush them.
Let's go. Our guy Craig Morgan's going to be up there as well, covering the team on the road. So, Gage, if you see him, say hi to our guy Craig Morgan, covering the Cards, taking on the Seahawks up there in Seattle.
I'll tell you who else is going to the game real quick. Coach Starks is going to the game, and he's torn. He messaged me earlier this week. He's got, I'm probably revealing too much here, but he's a diehard ASU fan, and it's killing him not to see ASU BYU this weekend, but he got these tickets in advance. He's ready to rep the Red Sea in Seattle. I appreciate that.
Well, who's using his ASU tickets?
I don't know. I didn't ask. I don't want to impose.
You telling me Coach Stark didn't believe in the boys before the season started when he bought those tickets?
Damon, don't start.
I gotta take my wins where I can get them, Bo. This is a bad year.
Yeah, ASU's unwatchable. They need a new head coach. One airborne, $2. Don't forget, we are perfect in the red zone.
Goal to go. There you are. Perfect.
Can you explain what that is to everybody?
So goal to go is anytime you're in a situation where it's first, second, third, fourth, and goal. When you are between the end zone, the goal line, and the 10-yard line when you're in a first and goal, second goal, third and goal, fourth and goal situation. The Cardinals have been there. They have scored a touchdown. They are 16 for 16. So once they get in close, and at one point, I think against the Bears, they were going to end that streak. And then the Bears had one of that leveraging penalty. So it put them right back in the goal to go situation, and they cashed in for the touchdown. So 16 for 16. Doesn't matter that the Bears screwed that one up.
The Bears always beating themselves. Kyler Plummer, $5. I'm betting the under on everyone will be asleep by halftime of Denver, Cleveland.
Very good possibility there.
Like, what do you?
Denver fans are going to be up giddy in their Orange Crush, jerseys and shirts and LFB, DMVR merchandise locker shirts. They're going to be the only people that care. Everybody else is like, oh, cool. This guy plays decent quarterback. All right.
Oh, cool. He's on pace to throw for like 22 touchdowns. Let's have a parade.
Yeah.
Let's have a parade. It's
let me get on with my life with any other way.
Bo Nix and his cane.
Like, let's just be real. The Broncos are the antithesis of like juice, right? Like, say what you want about the Bengals. They're a great watch, but they're not a good team. The Broncos are slightly above average. They have to be one of the worst watches in the NFL. Like, we talked about Cleveland being a terrible watch. Who do you want to watch on that Broncos team? There's no Marvin. There's no James Conner. There's no K1. On the flip side, no Justin Jefferson. Nothing like that.
Right.
Maybe it's an argument why they're playing, so well, and you can tout Sean Payton and company. But like, I don't have no interest in watching the Broncos.
I'll give them a little credit. Like, it's an unbelievable job that they've done to get to 6-5, but they have when they are a fun watch, it's against a bad watch team like the Falcons in this upcoming game against the Browns. It's against a bad team where Bo Nix can kind of stat pad a little bit. It's just not nearly as exciting.
I'm going to read you their wins right now. We're going to get real gross. They beat the Bucks. That's probably their most impressive win. And when the Bucks had some of their players, they beat the Jets, the Raiders, the Saints, Panthers, and Falcons. Those are their wins this year.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Zach Stevens was pointing out on Twitter most recently, like the disparity, the point differential between them and the NFC South. It's like, well, the NFC South is a really bad division.
It's one of the worst.
It's the worst. It's the worst.
Yeah. Congratulations on your just horrific Monday night game. Cruz 199.
Hey, we're an SEC football team. We have a really good record against the Sun Belt.
Our MAC record the last 20 years is impeccable. Thanksgiving food tier list video, just an idea. Throwing that out there. If I would think Cruz, if this team, didn't have as much juice, we would probably be.
Yeah, Johnny has bad food takes. I don't know about how can you respect a guy who doesn't even finish his plate? And we got some insight into that too, where he's just putting food that he doesn't even really like on his plate.
Hang on a second. How about some context? Before the show, Fraud Bo Brack was like, what do you do with green bean casserole? And I'm like, I would probably eat it, but it's not a go-to for me. So Bo ran with the notion that I hate it. It's a mid-tier Thanksgiving dish. It's mid. Nobody puts it in an upper tier but you.
Bo has green bean casserole number 1, I think. The way that he was talking.
I do have it in my top tier list for sure.
Insane take.
What?
It's a staple.
Who's making this for you?
I want to eat this green bean casserole.
I know. I got to see this.
It doesn't take, a top chef to make green bean casserole. That's also the brilliance of it.
Are you using just canned green beans and you're just doing the sloppy gravy and you're just mixing it up? That's what you want. That's what
you can make do with that. I prefer somebody get maybe some fresh green beans and
Damon, can you end this, please? I cannot believe this is taking over the show today.
It's not. We're not going to let
It's the most mid Thanksgiving food. Like, I don't understand this take.
All right, we're going to rattle things off here. Sweet potato casserole, easily above that. Elite stuffing above that.
Sweet potato casserole, is that the one with the marshmallows?
Yes, 100%. The brown sugar.
No, not better.
Deviled eggs, elite. A turkey, obviously, is
I
top
don't even
tier.
think deviled eggs makes it on 50% of the Thanksgiving spread.
Oh my God.
Mac and cheese.
corn
Baked mac and
casserole.
cheese, or what are we talking about?
Any type of mac and cheese is better than green bean casserole. Come on, Bo. What are we talking about here? This is a blowout. This is SEC versus Sun Belt, like we were just talking about.
You got to bring some in. We all got to try some of Bo's green bean casserole, or maybe just it's the casserole we've always had. Everybody knows
die
it.
on this hill. I don't even really want to die on this hill. It's a staple of my Thanksgiving, and I thought you disrespected it. That's the point of the conversation we had pre-show.
Yeah, I'll disrespect it. I have no issue with that. Josh, $5.
I'm also I'm not a pro turkey guy.
You guys eat like ribeyes on Thanksgiving, right, Bo?
We like to get
man.
Prime ribs. Yeah. Turkey's a dirty, filthy bird.
I respect that move.
Yeah.
It's the meal of the year, and you're gonna sit down and you're gonna eat a nice ribeye with your family. I respect the hell out of that.
Let's get some Doritos out. Let's get an ice cream cake. Let's just besmirch this entire holiday, Bo. Maybe some cotton candy. Oh yeah, I got a ribeye cooking out there.
To the traditions, some really great traditions in Thanksgiving. If you're gonna be,
they're not. They're really not. It's bad. Josh, $5. If the Cards win the next 2 games, then the other teams in the division have a tough time to win the division.
No doubt about it.
Yeah, let's see the schedule one more time, Damon. The breakdown of the next couple of weeks per the division here. I mean, the Niners season could be over 10 days from now. The Seahawks, you could effectively end them in the next 3 weeks. And, what's going to happen here with the LA Rams? Can the LA Rams go 2-1 in that stretch? 12, 13, and 14, Bo? Is that possible in your opinion?
Against the Eagles and the Bills?
And the Saints. Like, can they go 2-1? Can they win 2 out of 3?
I don't think so. Not against week 12 and week 14's opponents between the Eagles and the Bills. No, I mean, they might. They'll get the job done in week 13 against the Saints.
The only thing that I worry about is Sirianni coaching late in the year, because Sirianni is
the point. I think Josh is making. You take care of business here in week 12, and you move to 7-4 with the potential of delivering a blow to the Seahawks to move them to 5-6, and then also looking at the Niners and the Rams opponents between Green Bay and Philly, 2 of the top teams in the conference. Like you have the potential of taking a commanding lead here, 2-game lead, and sending all 3 of these teams to sub 500 records.
Mina said it best. I mean, you get to 10 wins, it's over. You get to 10 wins, I think you win this division. I think. Well, yeah,
and then if you just start off post bye with a dub and move to 7, and you've got Carolina and the Patriots staring at the face, those are 2 very, very winnable games.
I mean, think about it.
Find one more win on the schedule.
You beat the Panthers and the Patriots. Is it as simple as you got to win 2 of 5 against the Seahawks twice, the Niners, Rams, and the Vikings? I think it's simple as that. As long as you don't get swept by the Seahawks, I guess. Like to your point the other day. Go ahead, Damon.
I was playing around with it earlier today on the playoff machine, and if the Cardinals beat the Patriots and the Panthers, their playoff percentage goes up to 70%.
Yeah. I mean, 10 wins.
Look at the Seahawks team is so flawed. They have the ability to win. No doubt about it. They're hosting the game. They've found a way 5-5, but it is a brutally flawed team, especially the player that you need to give a lot of credit to for their 5 wins. You also have to give credit to him for their 5 losses in Geno Smith, and how often he's turned the football over. But this team is 30th in penalties, 27th against the run, 26th in turnover margin, 29th in time of possession, 28th.
Well, they're 2-5 in their last 7. They're not a good team.
They're not.
They beat 3 really bad teams. They beat Bo Nix in the opener. They beat Jacoby Brissett, and they beat Skylar Thompson. Since then, they're 2-5. The Bills went into Seattle and beat the holy hell out of them, 31-10. They've had some tough, close matchups against the Rams and the Giants. I mean, the Giants put up 29 points. Would you be disappointed if the Cardinals don't put up 30 points this weekend off a bye? I would. I think the Cardinals 4 touchdowns is in play with multiple field goals. Kyler Murray would have to be atrocious this week for that not to happen. The personnel's not good enough. They're trading for players. Remember all those scrubs they traded for?
and they would you'd have to see a similar rush defense that they had against Christian McCaffrey, who we've outlined is a shell of himself.
Yeah, he and James
against
Conner
a
right
very fresh James Conner and a fresh Cardinals offensive line.
Johnny, to your point that you made earlier, if they were to win basically any combination of the rest of the 2 of the 5, yeah, that they have like a 98% chance to make playoffs if they take care of business against the Panthers and Patriots.
I mean, it is right there. It is right there for, I think, the biggest surprise season in modern franchise history for this team. Josh, thank you for the $5. Chaz, $4.99. I booked an unnecessary dentist appointment as soon as I found out Denver, Cleveland was prioritized over our holy Cardinals. Thanksgiving with games. We appreciate you, Chaz. Listen, it's disappointing. Like I wanted them to be on national TV. I thought the game was poised to be flexed. Everything that I had heard, like the team was kind of bracing for it. And the league said, you know what? We are going to slobber all over the Denver Broncos and Bo Nix. And I think that's gross. I think it's a really gross decision. No, but if the public got to vote, Bo, between Cards, Vikings, or Browns, Broncos, would be a runaway.
It would. I mean, you would have the Browns fans voting against their team being put on prime time. They don't want to watch that. It's an embarrassment.
Yeah. To your point,
save us, NFL schedule makers. Please flex us out of prime time. That's what Browns fans are screaming.
The Browns season is an unmitigated disaster. And no amount of Jameis in the huddle eating W's and cracking jokes is going to fix that. That we still have to endure 3.5 hours. So I don't know. The league loves Sean Payton, and they they love that storyline right now. They're running with it. Like Bo Nix is suddenly like a co-favorite with Jaden Daniels to win Rookie of the Year, which I'm sure grosses you out. So I mean, for me, it's like
the numbers are pretty crazy, though. I mean, Bo Nix's numbers are significantly better than Jaden Daniels.
Jaden, I mean, tell me if you heard this before. Like Cliff Kingsbury's offense hasn't looked good for a month.
What?
I think Jaden's got like 9 passing touchdowns.
And he has 7.
That's it?
No, right?
he's got 10. He's got 10. I mean, he was so good early on that it padded his stats. But here's Jaden Daniels' game log over the last several weeks. He's got, 3 touchdowns in 3 weeks passing, and they've lost 2 straight, and they should have lost to the Bears, and they almost lost to the Giants. So, I mean, keep an eye out for Fraud Cliff with the Commanders down the stretch here. I think we're all thinking it. Who do the Commanders play this weekend?
That graphic that we got to see every year at this time of year, where it's Cliff's
we still
team.
have that. That's somewhere in the cellar. The Cliff Bar graphic.
It's dating back to his Texas Tech days and going on through the 4 years he was the Cardinals. When the calendar switched to like mid-October, it just went.
I'm going to tell you right now. I'm going to tell you my hold or fold the line tomorrow is going to be Dallas over Washington this weekend.
Yeah.
I'm going to get real gross with Dallas over Cliff. Dallas, big emotional loss, embarrassing. Everybody loves the Commanders. Yeah. Cliff Kingsbury, not a great head coach. We'll see.
Right.
Maybe those interview requests will dry up here in the next couple of weeks. Quickly here, you had a chance to connect with both coordinators for the Arizona Cardinals today. Anything relevant from Drew Petzing or Nick Rallis?
There's a lot of questions as far as Kyler Murray. Drew Petzing gave some good insight as far as that. You can see that PHNX_Cardinals on Twitter. Nick Rallis gave some more insight as far as Darius Robinson and his return. Maintain it's a day-to-day thing, but also just pointed to Darius. They know he's a good player. They're excited to, whenever he's ready, to get him back out onto the football field, play games for this team. Said he's a 10-year vet in a rookie's body. So just, not too much coming off the bye to a couple coordinators that have both their sides of the football humming between Nick Rallis and Drew Petzing.
Drew Petzing, I put it on Twitter. He's having a good month. Nick Rallis, maybe the best month of any defensive coordinator in the NFL, given the fact they haven't allowed a home touchdown since before October. So we'll have to keep an eye out on that in the coming weeks here. Everybody be sure to drop a like on this video. back at practice tomorrow, Bo Brock, and we should hear from the franchise quarterback himself, Kyler Murray.
That's right. Kyler Murray will take the podium. He'll chat it up where his mindset is coming off of the bye and looking down the stretch of these 7 games, starting with the Seattle Seahawks, who he's faced quite a bit in his career, going against his counterpart there, Geno Smith, in a defense that's giving him fits here and there. So, but Kyler Murray put his team in a position to beat this team in the finale last year, would have put them for their 5th win. But Matt Prater couldn't connect on one of 2 field goals. He missed on both, but it put the team in a better position overall to select a guy like Marvin Harrison Jr., 4th overall, to bolster this offense. So we'll hear from Kyler. We'll probably hear from Marvin. We will definitely hear from Jonathan Gannon and see where Darius Robinson is on the practice field. We'll get an official participation report, since Monday was the bonus. We'll figure out what his participation is. Is he limited? Is he full as far as Darius Robinson? And he could give us some insight as this show remains it's probably a long shot that'll be on the playing field come Sunday against the Seahawks.
Also keep an eye, Jonah Williams back on the roster. What will that look like with Kelvin Beachum? Will they rotate? Will Beach remain the starter? That's going to be interesting. And Kelvin Beachum's earned the respect of this coaching staff. You bet your bottom dollar. And for a lot of people, feel like he deserves to stay in the lineup. One of the best right tackles over the last several weeks. Can Jonah Williams force the issue? We're going to talk about that and more. Drop a like on this video. The goal 350 here on a Football Tuesday. Big thank you, friend of the program, Mina Kimes, stopped by. Again, check out that interview. Check out Craig Morgan's work at GoPHNX.com. Big thanks to everybody sending in your super chats. Damon, Dawg, Brack. I'm Johnny Venerable. We're back on a Wednesday. Peace.
We all silly like the mayor.